Recording in progress.
Thanks, everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Back at home, and good to be coming off of a victory. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to play Louisiana Monroe this week. They've got a very athletic football team and a very well-coached football team. I'm impressed with them in every phase, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. An athletic team like this, it presents some matchup problems for us, and we're going to have to execute at a really, really high level if we're going to have a chance to win. But we are looking forward to being back here at home and just the opportunity to play again. And certainly, we've talked about this before in the press conferences, both on Tuesdays and following games, that the first half of the season hasn't quite gone like we hoped it would, but our guys continue to fight and continue to push and improve, and we're glad the season's not over and we got a chance to play some more. So we're looking forward to this Saturday.
Jeff, Rich DeMarco from Army Radio. Last week began this 2-game homestand. What positives from that game last week have you really taken into this week to help build momentum, obviously, to culminate on Saturday?
Just to win, just to be able to go out there and execute well enough to win a game and celebrate in the locker room and have our guys feel good about the work that they put in. And not that we're not proud of our guys for the effort that they put in every week and how we've prepared. I don't feel like the results of our games have been where we fell short have been a lack of preparation or lack of hard work by our guys, a lack of focus or concentration. It's execution. So they executed well enough Saturday to win. Still plenty of things we need to do better, that we've got to do better if we're going to hope to win this Saturday. But I'm happy for our guys that they get to celebrate a victory, because it's not easy to win a football game.
And we're exactly at the halfway point of this season. What's your evaluation of the first 6 games?
As I said, not where we'd like to be. And we played, I think, some very good football teams and some very athletic football teams. And we've had some close games where we fell short, and those are the ones that are really disappointing. That I just feel like if we could have executed better, and certainly that has something to do with our opponents and their execution, but if we could have executed better, that we could have found ourselves as the winners. And you'd feel a lot better we would feel a lot better if we had won those games. But still, I'm so optimistic about our second half of the season and this team that we have. We got guys that have played, and we got guys that are tough, and we got guys that care, and I think we can win with guys that care and are disciplined and tough and work really hard to execute the fundamentals. And so we're going to continue to do that as we go through practice this week, and hopefully that'll show up on Saturday, and we'll find a way to win the game. And each time we have a chance to play a football game and execute, and then if we have a chance to win, and we do win the game, it just grows the confidence of this team and the excitement about the next game. And when you win, the next game gets bigger. That's usually the way it works. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
Charles, you can start.
Good afternoon, Coach. Charles Grievous with GoBlackKnights.com. Needless to say, injuries are part of the game. And last week against Colgate, you played minus tons of firepower from Carter to Robinson, Tyler, Austin, and Buchanan and Riley. Can you walk us through how you're managing your practice reps this week as you prepare for Louisiana Monroe?
Well, some of them last week didn't get any practice reps, and we'll start the week this week with some of them probably not getting any practice reps, and hopefully as we get closer to the game, we'll be able to increase that. We really tried to reduce the amount of contact that we have in practice. We've reduced our practices just time-wise, the overall time that we're out on the field, down to probably as short in duration as we can. And it's almost to a point where I'm a little bit uncomfortable. That I'd like to be out there on the field longer. I just don't feel like we can be and remain healthy, or for that matter, get healthy. So, Charles, we're just kind of pulling back a little bit on the contact, on the time that we're out there, and increasing the reps that we take mentally, either in walkthroughs or in meetings and film work, which you've got to get the time in one way or another, whether it's taking a live rep or in a walkthrough. The guys best understand, and I think people best understand when they do, not when they watch or they hear. So we've got to get as many reps as possible without risking further injury. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of guys that we count on to win football games that were out last week, and we haven't been a healthy football team completely probably since the first week. And so that's my responsibility too, is our guys are playing hard, they practice hard. In games, we don't have any control. Those guys are going to go out there and play, and if they get hurt in a game, they get hurt in a game, and it's part of it. But in practice, we've got to do what we can and really look at how we do it to try to maximize the personnel that we have and have them ready for Saturday. So with all that said, we're going to nurse those that are coming off of injury back to health as much as possible. And for those that aren't injured, try to keep them healthy without risking the physicality and the speed with which we like to play, because I think that makes us who we are. And it's a fine line, it's a difficult balance, but we're working through that.
In last year's bowl win over Missouri, you actually utilized 3 quarterbacks. Assuming that Jones, Tyler, and Baylor are available for Saturday's game, is using all 3 possibility, or is that something you hope that you don't have to do?
I don't know if that's ideal to play 3 quarterbacks, but we wouldn't have any issues with doing that. And so I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. The Missouri game was unique, obviously, and that last-minute drive there with Jabari coming in off the bench, and what a great job he did. I think each one of our guys, that they have some unique skills, and really there's probably justification for having individually each of them in the game at certain points. But they all are very confident. They're all well coached. They've all worked really hard to learn the offense, and I think bring something to the offense when they're in there. Ideally, I think any team would have a quarterback, and that quarterback plays all the snaps, as many snaps as possible, and it's not always that easy to do, and not for us, and not in our offense the way that we're operating as an offense right now. So we'll just see. I think all 3 of them are going to be ready, and I think all 3 of them are very capable, and a lot of that will depend on what happens in practice this week. I thought Jamel did an outstanding job on Saturday, and really handled his role as well as he could. Ran the ball hard and made some good decisions, and we didn't complete a pass, but he's capable of doing that, and we'll see if there's a necessity to do that this weekend on Saturday.
And my follow-up and final question, you've often used the phrase, whatever gives us the best chance to win. That seems to be priority, obviously. For example, playing the younger guys, getting them experience to grow via actual game reps. Or can you balance those 2 things, or is it opposite ideas, if you will? Just how do you view that?
I'm certain that probably every coach in the country has a similar philosophy. I want to position our team to win, and that's all based on personnel. The players win the games; they're the ones that got to go make the plays, and 11 of them get to trot out there every time the ball is snapped or whatever the case may be. The opening kickoff, we got 11 guys, and there might be a different 11 guys go in there on the first snap on offense or defense. But they're all in there for a reason, because they give us the best chance to succeed on that play. And that's my job, and our job as coaches, to position our team to win. But we don't play the same 11 guys, excuse me, on every play. And throughout the season on offense or defense, there's guys that in certain situations are better in the game than another guy. There's oftentimes injuries, as we're seeing right now, that create opportunities for other guys to play, but really force us to put other people in the game that may not be in the game in that situation if the starter or the guys ahead of him in the depth chart were healthy. So in practice, we do get a lot of reps with the depth. So guys that are second team and third team players, they get plenty of time in practice in individual drills as well as team settings to be able to play and execute their assignment and fundamentals, so that if and when they do go in the game, they're prepared. And I think you saw that starting as early as week 2, when we started David Hayward and Bo Lombardi on the offensive line. And Bo Lombardi's a high school quarterback who has grown his body and worked his tail off to become an offensive lineman, and he's playing in a college football game as an offensive tackle, a Division I college football game as an offensive tackle after playing high school quarterback. But that Shane Buckingham was also a high school quarterback, and he started the first game as an offensive tackle. So there's a development piece in this program that maybe is unique and different than other schools. But all those guys are getting reps as we go through preseason camp and as we go through practice each week, so that they are ready to go. And if a guy gets hurt, as Jackson Flipwitz did on Saturday, and he went down, we had to insert a different guard. He doesn't have as many reps, and he hasn't had as many plays on the field as Jackson, but he needs to be prepared, because he's one play away from being the starter and being the guy in the game. So getting guys reps in critical situations is important for their development, but it's got to come at the right time when we can control it. And a lot of that is especially the skill guys defensively, linebackers and secondary players. On offense, really everybody but the offensive line and the quarterbacks. They kind of cut their teeth on special teams in this program and get their first plays in critical situations on special teams, so that when they do go in on offense or defense, that it's not the first time they've been in a football game, and they're prepared for the speed of the game and just the intensity and the focus that it takes. So we work our developmental squad or our younger guys throughout practice and take time during each week to just dedicate time for them, where our coaches are coaching them in fundamental drills, and we're running plays and defensive calls and special teams, and that's an important part of their development and their growth as players here too.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll go to Ken Kreitzer.
Good afternoon, Coach. Ken Kreitzer, Canvas Media. Hey, just start out by asking about what you thought of the young players who were in the offensive backfield. And Hayden Reed had a big game, especially the second drive. A.J. Williams, Gerald Dixon, Miles Stewart, even Maurice Bellin got in for a few plays, a former quarterback. How did you feel they all did on Saturday?
Those guys all played hard. Markel Johnson was in there as well, playing B-back. He had some good runs. Again, ideally, we'd have Tyson Riley and Jacoby Buchanan, those guys at the very top, taking the bulk of the reps. I think we're at our best when the guys at the top of the depth chart are healthy and they're playing well. But it's been encouraging to see, especially Hayden Reed, and him kind of rise up through the ranks through preseason camp and early in the season to be able to play. And he's improving. Every time he plays, he gets better. There's still things he does that, because of his lack of experience, probably we've got to correct, are maybe errors or mistakes or fundamental things that you don't see Riley or Jacoby Buchanan making, just because they've got more experience. But he hasn't put the ball on the ground and lost a fumble, and that's encouraging. Those older guys have done that this year, and not pointing the finger at them, but that's something that just collectively we've got to do a better job of as we go through the season. And those, we've had turnovers that have cost us football games. And we had one on Saturday. It was obviously attempted pass play, and it got batted down, and it was ruled a lateral, and we lost that one. But we didn't have a contact fumble, which is an improvement, and we try to pride ourselves on being really good at taking care of the ball. And it was great to see those young guys go in there who don't have as much experience and get some carries and take care of the ball.
And Coach, a little bit on the defense. Andre Carter's out. Any update on his situation and the job that Fabrice Bowen did as playing on Saturday in that position, outside linebacker?
Fabrice did a really nice job. There's a guy that's a perfect example of playing special teams and how he's come up through the program. He's one of our best, if not our best, special teams player. And to see him go in there and be able to perform like he did on defense was great. I thought he did a great job. There's a guy's a senior, and he's put so much into this program. And Andre's getting better. He's improving. Expect to have him practicing this week and hopefully ready to go for the game on Saturday.
Thank you. And Coach, just about Louisiana Monroe, their quarterback, Chandler Rogers, looks like he's coming off of two big passing days, 279 yards against Coastal, 371 against South Alabama, including 4 touchdowns. What do you see in his game?
He's a terrific player, and I assume you've watched him and seen him on TV. When I got back to the house last weekend, first thing I did was turn on the channel that had that game on, and he's a really, really good runner, great on his feet. He's quick and fast, and he throws the ball really, really well. Got a very quick release, a host of talented, athletic receivers. Just really impressed with them overall, and just that we're talking offense here, a big offensive line, a back that breaks a lot of tackles against good people. I mean, they played Texas and Alabama and Coastal Carolina and South Alabama, and those are all teams that are obviously Texas and Alabama are recognized, but Coastal and USA, both one-loss teams and outstanding teams, and he shows up against all of them. So they got a really good football team, and we could go on and on about their defense. They're athletic as heck, maybe as athletic a team as we face this year defensively.
Thanks, Coach.
Go to Ken McMillan.
Jeff, Ken McMillan from the Record. Even with all the injuries and the lineup replacements, what specific areas did you see improvement in versus Colgate?
Well, like I said, we didn't fumble the ball. We didn't have a contact fumble. The one, obviously, that Jamel threw the pass, we were trying to throw that swing route, and it got batted down, and it was a good job by their defensive end, and we unfortunately lost that one, and they scored a touchdown just before half off of that turnover, which was a little discouraging. But I think offensively, to be able to move the ball and score like we did, to do it on the opening drive and the next drive, and to start fast on offense, that was encouraging and an improvement. I think defensively, in the second half, Obviously, we got 2 quick touchdowns and got up on them, and they were going for it on 4th down and things like that. But we held them out of the end zone and did not allow them to score in the second half. That was certainly an improvement. So, I mean, that's enough right there. I mean, if we can score quickly and get up on a team and then do a good job in the second half of if we have a lead, holding that lead and not letting them in the end zone, it's a positive. There's certainly a lot of other things that I'd like to see improve and continue to get better at the individual things, fundamental things like tackling and sustaining blocks and those sorts of things that we're all responsible for. Everybody on the team is going to be involved, maybe with the exception of the kickers and the quarterbacks. You either got to block or destroy a block, and if you're a defensive player or a special teams player, you got to be able to tackle, and so I'd like to see continued improvement in that area, but I think we're getting better.
Jeff, you mentioned you answered the 3 quarterback question earlier. I'm just curious though, do these quarterbacks still have to win the job every week, or do you still believe in a bit of a ride the hot hand?
I think there's a little bit of both. Everybody has to earn their place every week. If a guy just has a terrible week of practice and the guy that plays the same position with him has a much better week of practice, the guy that had a better week of practice is probably better prepared to play. Now, sometimes there's a guy that's got so much experience and has played so many games. Marquell Broughton has played, I think, over 1,800 snaps in a game in his college career. So he might not have a great week of practice this week, but he might still give us the best chance to win. So we'll make that determination as we go into the game. Now, if he's injured and can't perform at a level that allows him to compete as well as the other guy, then the other guy will have to play. And so with the 3 quarterbacks, Tyre was out. Cade had an injury that probably limited him. And we have a lot of faith in Jamel. And in the game we played, he did a good job. So as we go through practice this week, all 3 of them are going to get an opportunity to play and take reps, and we'll make a determination as to who we think is the guy that needs to play the first play or the most plays, or how we're going to use one of them or 2 of them or all 3 of them. And I just really don't have an answer on who that's going to be right now, but I think there's a balance. Certainly when a guy is playing really well and Jamel had a really good game, it's one game, and I'm really proud of him. He did a great job, so maybe he's the guy. But Tyler's played a lot of football for us and started in some really big games, and I think he's a good player and a tremendous leader, and I feel the same about Cade. Cade's started 2 games here, and we've won both of them. So I think they're all very capable.
What do you think of the punting game right now?
It's not worth a damn.